Starting next week, some of your peoples may not be able to make it into the United States if they don't have an additional $250. That's right, the new law that was introduced and signed off on in the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill, goes into effect on October 1st. And the interesting thing is, so many of us have no idea what it is. So I'm here to one, explain what it is, two, explain who will have to pay, go through a list of those who will not have to pay, and I'll let you use those, your imagination as to the similarities. Um, and then tomorrow, we're going to talk about potential retaliation from other countries that will be affected and what that can look like. But today it's all about the who, the what, right? And a little bit of the why that they say. But I'm going to talk about my why. But let me first introduce myself. Hey everyone. I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. On this channel, we talk all things wellness, travel, and money, honey. Yes, that's right. We bring you gems from a cultural perspective, from a Black woman's point of view about topics that are really going to affect us, right? And so all I ask is that you become a part of the Gem Nation family. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's how you become a part of the Gem Nation family. We are on a mission to 50K strong by the end of 2025. I know it's a tall order. We're about 14.5 thousand strong right now. But if you just go ahead, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you know when we come live, when I drop a new video. And we also ask that you share this video with a friend, a family member that may be impacted, because we believe here that sharing is definitely caring. Any questions, go ahead and put them in the description, in the chat. I will answer while they're live. If you're watching this later on, go ahead and comment any questions, and I will get back to you just as soon as I can. So again, I thought this topic today was very timely and important because so many of us have no idea as to what is going on. And that makes me sad. Why are we so far behind? Why in this knowledge? And the reason why I know we're behind, because I purposely ask people, hey, did you hear about the new visa requirements from people from mostly brown countries? Oh no, what are those? Child. So let's get into it. As soon as I say hi to my people in the building. Hey, Ebed, welcome. Good to see you back in the building. Did you please respond to my email? I didn't get a response from you, so I can get that out to you. Hey, Christine, my moderator with a wrench. So happy to see that you made it. Hey, Kimberly Brooks, it's been a minute. I think you've been part of the Gym Nation, if I'm not mistaken. I'm Kim, I'm a Kim too, so I may have seen another Kimberly, but welcome. Yes, and like Christine says, please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. But again, tonight it's all about what is this new visa requirement? Who is going to have to pay a little more? And when I say a little more, for some people, it's going to be a lot more to enter the US, what that visa looks like, how long is it good for, and who's exempt. And so let me go ahead and start, because tonight and then tomorrow, like I said, we're going to talk about some of the ramifications, repercussions, and retribution that may occur that we as United States citizens may have to endure. And so let me go ahead and get into what it is. So it's actually called the U.S. Visa Integrity Fee. Whoo, child, it's just something that tickles me about U.S. and integrity right now. Anyway, so I like to call it the invisible wall, right? I like to call it the wall that we didn't know was going to be built and we cannot see. But it is definitely a wall and it is meant to keep people out, even though that's not what they're saying. And I'll get into what they're saying in a second. So it goes into effect October next week. Can you believe it? Next week is October, y'all. Oh, child. Yes, it goes into effect next week, and it is a new $250 fee added. Added. Let me say that again. A new $250 fee added to the cost of most non-immigration US visas already. So there are a lot of countries that there's already a fee. There's already a fee that has been added. This is in over and above that fee. And so it's going to apply to your visa based on timing, right? And per user, not per, excuse me, issued, not per application. So just like some countries like Brazil, right? Brazil just implemented or reinstated their new visa program at the top of this year, and Americans have to pay $80 for a 10-year visa. So it's good for, in and out trips, but you have to have that visa in order to enter, and you have to pay $80, and you have to show that you have at least $2,000 in your bank account. This was supposedly in retaliation of the fees that they knew was coming they had already been implemented for people from Brazil who traveled to the US paying certain fees. And I'm sure they were anticipating this increase. So it was signed into law on July 4th of 2025 under the big, beautiful bill. And how they have positioned it, but we'll get into that a little later, that it's designed to recover costs related to visa overstays and enforcements. Yeah. When you hear more about the countries, you'll question if that is indeed the case, right? So, who will have to pay? Anyone who is from a country that is not on the visa waiver program. So there are certain countries that have visa waivers, just like for Americans that travel to certain countries. That list is going to get shorter as the years go by. But like right now, we can go to European countries, certain Europe. We could go to European countries without paying a visa fee. But if we want to go to certain countries in Africa, we have to pay a fee to go. If we want to go to Brazil, we have to pay a fee. So there are certain countries where there's no fees for them to get a visa to enter the United States. And it also applies to anyone who is applying for a US non-immigration visa. So tourists, students, and worker visas from the countries that I'm about to go over will have to pay the fee. And just to get a little technical, you can fast forward through this if you don't want to hear the technicality, but there are certain types of visas. There's the B1, the B2. Those are tourism and business visas. There's the FMJ. Those are the student exchange, and that's F comma, M like Mary comma, J like Jackie. Student exchange visas. And then there's the H-1B. We've been hearing a lot about that with the temporary work. We haven't even talked about the $100,000 price tag that is being put on some countries, but that's not tonight's conversation. We'll get in that tomorrow when we talk more about the retaliation that some of these countries may implement and what that may look like. But for the sake of this $250 integrity fee, that includes the H-1B visa, the L visa, the O visa, and there's a couple others. And I'm going to go through the entire list, mostly the entire list of countries that will have to pay, but we will go through who's going to be exempt first. So, who's going to be exempt? Like I said, those are people who have the visa waiver program, and they can travel to the US for tourism or business up to 90 days. They will have to fill out something like we have to fill out now to go to London, a ETA, a electronic, or is it tran travel authorization, a lot electronic travel authorization, and you literally have to do a picture, you have to send it in, you have to get approved before you can even get on a plane to fly to the UK. It's not a visa, it's going to be, well, it's called the ESTA to come to the US, and it just means you've gotten prior approval, but it's not a visa. And I'm sure there's a cost to that as well. Who is exempt? Mostly wealthy companies, um, and countries that are mostly what? And we'll go through that list in a second. There's also Canada has waivers, right? Also certain diplomats as well. And for most people who are seeing straight through what is happening, they see that there's a certain, how can I say, a certain list. And let's just go through it. Let's just go through the list. There's a certain connection. That's the word that I'm looking for. And if you looked at the thumbnail for tonight, you will see what that that kind of looks like. So let's just go through some of the exempt countries. Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brunei, Chile, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Liechtenstein, I always get this one. Lithuania, excuse me, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, not Morocco, Monaco, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, right now, Portugal, Qatar, San Marino, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, and the United Kingdom. So that is the not fully comprehensive, but that is a exhaustive list of the countries that will be exempt. And it's also to let you know of all of the countries that I listed. Just think in your head, let's see who's going to get this so difficult question. What do most of them have in common? If you have not hit the like button and subscribe again to become part of the Gem Nation family, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a dime. If you are about this mission and this movement to drop gems for us so that we can be more empowered and we can be more ready to, more ready if we have to make certain moves, then go ahead, subscribe to the channel, as we're on a quest to 50,000 subscribers strong. Tomorrow, we are coming back with another live to talk about what the retribution can look like from the countries that I'm about to name. So these are the countries. Let me see if y'all have any questions first. Sorry. Yes. Thank you, Simone. Come on. Thank you, Simone. Come to Guatemala or Belize. Oh, welcome, Shara. Far Maid, good to see you again from Homewood, Long Island. Well, we're going to quickly get into the countries that are not exempt. And Christine kind of hit the nail on the head, but let's just do a quick rundown. So here are some of the countries that are not part of the waiver program, the visa waiver program. And I'm also going to get into the cost in a second, how much more it's going to cost. And I started off this live by saying some of your peoples, some of your friends, listen, I'm from New York, very diversified city. Most of my network has people visiting or connected in some way to some of these places that I'm going to start off and name. And let me start off by saying Caribbean countries. A lot of the Caribbean countries will be affected, including St. Kitts, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, Aruba, Barbados, Belize, Guyana, and other Caribbean countries will face this new additional fee, this new additional $250 visa integrity fee, which will increase the overall total to the visa for about $435 for most applicants. So think if you are bringing a family of 5 to a wedding, a graduation, something for the first time from one of these countries that I just listed or ones that I'm about to name, we're talking over $2,000 just to come for that. You may just want to come for that and never want to come back to the US again, but because of these new fees, it's going to cost you, or you're going to have to, flip a coin and see who can make it and who can't. But the countries that are going to be affected: China, India, Russia, Brazil, Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, Egypt, Iran, Thailand, South Africa, Ukraine, Argentina, Colombia, Kenya, Morocco, Peru, Venezuela, Ghana, Uganda, Tanzania, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Algeria, Angola. And that, again, does not include the Caribbean countries. But what do they all have in common? Besides them not being part of the waiver program, right? What do they all have in common? It is not hard to tell. But let's just get into a little bit more of who was responsible for the passing. And again, if you have any questions, any comments, go ahead and put them in the chat. The chat is turned on for subscribers only. Ain't nobody got time for no games. I'm coming here to help the people, to drop some gems and not battle anybody on if this is right or if it's wrong. And so I purposely, if you want to comment, you have to be a subscriber. But understand, my moderator's in the building, so act up and you will get exited, shown the exit. But the law was sponsored by the Republican Party, right? And backed by the Republican majority Congress and signed by your president. All Senate Democrats voted against it. So by all accounts, this is primarily a Republican-led initiative. And again, understanding what is connecting the dots for most of the countries that are affected, you will understand why. The same reason they're trying to get all the brown, Black, Muslim people that are here out. They are trying to restrict those who come in and make it more difficult. So again, there are a few Caribbean countries that are exempt, like the Cayman Islands, but for the most part, it applies to the majority of the Caribbean. and I also say Caribbean, so excuse me. So what is the problem? I'm not sure if anyone commented, but before I break it down, yep, your wrench is working. Good, 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 Christy. So this is the overall consensus from people, for people, or the overall consensus from people who have two eyes, right? Who have good vision, good, clear understanding of what is going on. It is definitely putting countries of color at a disadvantage. It is disproportionately impacting majority non-white nations. Most non visa waiver program countries are in the global south, including Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. As we know, these countries have non-white majority populations, and travelers from these regions are now subjected to higher costs and tighter scrutiny. And let me just also add, let's just say you do get a visa, and I'm sure, we're not the only country that does this, but for the price that we're charging now, if you lose your passport, oh, you have to, and that visa's in that passport, in addition to renewing your passport, you have to cough up that 250 plus the 100 and whatever it is for the visa application. So it's not like you lost your passport, you just pay for another, to have your passport replaced with the visa in it. You have to pay again for the visa. Now, it's also a clear sign that, it's going to be unequal for people who don't have substantial amounts of money. You see who he flew in here for free, right? For free housing, subsidies, and all of that. But it's definitely going to deter students who want to study here from some of the countries that are not part of the waiver. Tourists who want to visit here. Now, there's already been a deterrent. We see, or have, some of us understand and have learned how tourism has drastically decreased over the past 10 months. If you want to come to visit your family, may simply be cost prohibitive. Also, temporary workers. We saw what happened with, what plane was that? What was the plane coming from? When this, when the, so we'll talk more about the 100K work visas, HB, what is it, H1B, HB1, I get them all confused, but that they were like, yeah, no, we don't want to come, we're not coming. They had to literally clarify that it would only be for new visa applicants, and I don't think it went into effect that day. But long story short, people who used to want to come here to do work that either many of us in the US didn't want to do or could not do, yeah, it's going to make it harder to get those workers here. It's definitely a deterrent. And so it definitely is looking like it's going to affect our economy. It's going to affect our education system. And that includes teachers, that includes doctors, that includes all the workers that you can think of. um, so yeah, it's oh child, we in danger, y'all. um it's definitely what people are calling passport inequality. And there's certain countries that get to enjoy privileges not because of overstaying or enforcement, just simply because of the color of their skin or lack thereof. And so um they're also anticipating that there will be longer wait times for people to get their visa scrutinized and processed, including the need for more in-depth interviews in order to have your visa issued. And it's going to just put a halt or at least a gap into the global mobility of people from certain countries. And so basically, I'm going to just share a few reasons why it matters when it comes to, and then I'll get, if you have any questions, go ahead and get them in now. Um, but basically, when it comes to each factor, the visa waiver program countries are mostly white. The non-visa waiver program countries are mostly non-white. Their region for the visa waiver program countries is the global north. The restrictions are in the global south. The visa fee before October 1st was $0. The visa fee for the non visa waiver program countries was $185, give or take. The fee for the non-visa waiver countries will now be $435. So from $185 to $435, which is going to present huge barriers. Whereas the countries with the visa waiver programs don't have to face that. And so again, if you got people from the Caribbean, if you got people from the countries that I just listed that you looked forward to come visiting you during the holidays, listen, start stacking extra paper now, or at least make sure they are aware so they're not caught off guard. And again, let me just go through the timeline. So each category has a different timeline, but let's just talk about this, tourists and business people. The most common time frame based on the countries that will see these increased costs is 10 years with multiple entries, but you're going to be given a certain amount of time that you can stay every time you enter the country, but you won't have to replace the visa for another 10 years, which is great if you plan on doing multiple entries and you have the money to get the visa. That's great. But if you grandma and you just coming to see your grandkids, you grandma coming from Barbados, coming to see your grandkids for the Christmas holidays, you're on a fixed income, then maybe that $435, I don't know. Is it worth it? If you don't have it, right? If you don't have it and then have to lean on other people to pay for it. But it can range from 6 months to 10 years, but most common it's 10 years. And that's just simply for the tourist and business visa. And so again, why more of us don't know about this is I don't understand. We know, Cardi B's album came out. We know, I'm just going through the things that are taking over my timeline. I know Jimmy Kimmel, right? He comes back on tonight. So these things are being brainwashed or pushed down our throats. So we are brainwashed to remember them, but things that are, really going to affect us are for some reason being suppressed and not, being vocal. We're not paying attention to. And so I wanted to bring this on tonight. We don't have to stay here a long time. Again, tomorrow, we're going to come back and talk about the retribution, the retaliation that people are saying may or may not happen from some of these countries. And then on Thursday, I'm going to do another live because if you missed it today, I did a post of the members got this video back in July, but based on the former vice president releasing her book today, I thought it was important to hear her when she was what I thought really talking about solutions, talking about how, we overcome certain things. And I wanted to share that before I went in and shared why I will not be purchasing 107 days. I will not be reading 107 days. And so on Thursday, I'm going to share the reasons why. And again, that is just something that I feel I need, because I support, I ride hard for Kamala, but at the same time, I'm not riding hard this time. And the same way I can be very, very vocal when I think, she's doing the right thing. And this is not in any way to say I regret any vote I did for her or even supporting her in other ways. This is just to say I will not be riding, nor will I recommend anyone else do. I will not be riding out with her on this 107 days thing that she got out right now. So that is on Thursday. So tomorrow we're going to talk about retaliation. And so the underscore that I would like to say, and I'm going to speak more about it tomorrow, is if you have any plans to get residency in any country that I just named, do it now. Do it now, child. This is going to be some interesting times, and things are going to change. And listen, when they do change, you want to be on the right side of it, right? You want to be like, oh, I'm good. I don't have to pay $10,000 to get residency in this country because they, are retaliating against the U.S. And so tomorrow we'll talk more about that. But again, just know, starting next week, child, next week, this is supposed to be implemented, and barring any unforeseen circumstance. I know like Brazil delayed a few times. I don't know that this man has any desire to delay. He's on warp speed mission to make this country, make America hot again. And so I just want us to be on our P's and Q's. So let me see what y'all are saying. If you didn't hit that like button, go ahead, hit it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be part of the Gym Nation, because we doing things, we going places. And let me just shout out to the Rain Society members for this past Saturday. Amazing. So many gems dropped, so much intel, so much information. I am so excited about where this community is going. Interested in learning more. You could go to the description. I'll put the banner up while I'm reading your comments. But yes, I'm super excited, super happy about where we are headed. Let's see. What they fail to realize is people ain't checking for America like that. They are finding other places to go. They are avoiding the United States. Do they fail to realize it? Or do they have other ways to make up that money? Right? Do they fail to realize it? I don't know. It's unfortunately the people who generate a livelihood from catering to us, or not to us, that cater to tourists, right? Like you see what's going on in Vegas, right? You see what's happening in other major tourist cities. It's not the government that's losing money. It's the people who have careers and jobs that are losing money. Oh, I'm sorry, I done skipped. If you already have a visa, do you have to pay this additional cost? No. Your visa is good for however it's good for. So if you have a visa to come into the US and it's not expired, this is only based on, the last I heard, just like the business visas are based on new visa entries. But if you have a valid visa that has not expired, you should be good. Gringo in Guatemala says you left the US and will never return. God bless you. As someone who has residency in Mexico, I feel you. And that is my trajectory as well. So I didn't read the entire list. So Belize is on the list. Panama is, if let's just make the assumption, if you are a poor country with people of color, you on the list, child. I didn't go through the entire list. There's 198 countries, right, in the world. So I just went through some of the bigger ones that will probably their impact will be greater because of the sheer amount of people that come to the US on tourist and business visas from there. So um, buenos noches, y tú. Hey, Anita's Creations. Good to see you. So, yeah. So, again, I just wanted to come on tonight because this is the new wall that nobody's talking about. When they would, and I'm not even going to say that man because I don't know that that man really knew what he was talking about, but the people in his circle were talking about building a wall. We were so focused on one wall, but they had plans for many other walls, right? Literally and figuratively. And so I wanted to come on tonight just to let the peoples know that, child, granny, cousins, and them may not be able to afford to make it to Thanksgiving or Christmas this year. And it's a damn shame because the people from, Sweden and Australia, they're not gonna have no extra problems, right? And so I really hope that we just spread the word. I hope that you come back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's 8 p.m. Y'all know me, where we talk about what the consequences and repercussions could look like and will probably look like and how we need to prepare for those. Also, so Gringo in Guatemala, I'm sure he's so happy he don't have to worry about none of this stuff. But a lot of people that I know personally will have to because they have family, that big families, I should say, that come to visit. And so again, it's 6 to 10 years. It's technically at the discretion of, Department of State or the agent when you enter how long they give you. But hopefully they'll give you 10 years, right? And so you can ride that out. But again, there's no guarantees. So I just wanted to come in. Y'all know I like to drop gems. Yeah. uh very happy. Listen, Kung Fu Fanta, if you don't believe it, you don't have to. Listen, that's your choice. I'm not here to convince you, right? This channel is not here to battle on what I believe, and most people who understand how this country was built and how it's trying to get back to, we don't have to debate. You find a channel that sings your song. You find a channel that truly very happy. Muy feliz. I love it. I love it. I love it, Gringo in Guatemala. I know so many people that love Guatemala to visit. Haven't been yet, but once I slow down and I could bop from Mexico, I will be visiting. So yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Like I said, if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button. I even thank you, Kung Fu Fanta. Any engagement that's not disrespectful, I appreciate. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, you're watching this on the back end, go ahead and put it in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as possible. I always say, if you watch this later, speed it up. You don't have to sit through 39 minutes of conversation. You could cut that in half. And so I know I do. So love you too, girl. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. It was last minute. It was impromptu, but I was like, you know something? I was actually going to do the Kamala story about her book tonight. And then I was like, wait a minute. October's next week. And I done talked to 5 people in this past week that still don't know about the changing of these visa fees. So let me do that first. I'll talk about the retaliation tomorrow, and then I'll give my little op-ed piece about 107 days Kamala Harris. And that's all I got, y'all. But thank you for tuning in. Again, I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems, and I will see y'all tomorrow evening. Take care. Bye.